Hi there, Leo. My name's Chandler Christine. This is your July 2018 General Energy Reading. For those of you who are interested in personal readings, I'm going to link my website down in the description box below. It seems a lot of us are going through a spiritual upheaval. That's at least what I'm getting. And if you don't know me, I am actually a moon and rising sign in Leo, and I resonate so much with this energy. Definitely an influx of intellectual clarity coming to us. Ideas, big ideas, okay? And not only big ideas, but assertiveness within them. Belief, okay? Belief in our ideas. Belief, settling, belief, grounding, taking hold, rooting, right? All right. Leo, what are your main focuses for this month in July? Okay, right out of the bat. The Hero. Okay, this is much like the Chariot, and some of you might be involved with the Cancer sign. However, I see this progressing very nicely. If this is a relationship, you could be expected to steer this in the right direction, right? This is a prosperous time for you as well. It's a time where you can consider yourself the hero of your own story. This is the time where you can consider yourself a player, right, or a key element, VIP, MVP, in the energetic department, right? People are going to be looking to you to either A, make decisions, transform ideas into reality, or simply take the reins of what direction your life is headed in. This is a really, really good card for any kind of momentum in the career aspect of your life, okay? Clarity involved with the Hero card, a lot of transformation, as well as an indication that there's a new chapter among us. Leading into Leo season, I'm really excited to see this, actually. It might actually work out very nicely for us this summer. I can't believe it's already July. Love. So love in reverse. Wow, a lot of you are making a transition either in love, right, getting out of a relationship potentially, or maybe just love, the fact of love and relationships hasn't been on the forefront of our mind. Maybe we're being told to deepen our connections with others. Maybe there's a need to be a little bit more intimate as well. The Ace of Air coming to us as an affirmation to the influx of intellectual energy that we're being exposed to this month. And I say exposed because generally we feel very weathered by the air energy or the intellectual energy that comes. You know, we are most comfortable at times with a certain consistent air. However, this air is coming to us, or this energy and intellectual influx is coming to us as a gust, okay? That's the difference here. With the Ace of Air, though, it does mark a specific beginning that's coming to us within our beliefs, within our habits, our practices, the clarity that's coming to us, and it could be in the form of a stark contrast. However, this is going to be really beneficial to us. It's going to just gear up our senses and put us in the right direction. It could be very spiritual as well, okay? So maybe we're coming into alignment with true love, or making ourselves more available for love, but in a very contrasting way. The Nine of Earth comes up because I believe we're having to end certain chapters with this element of energy that we're getting. Maybe it's a chapter of habitual actions, or a certain cyclical nature that we have been perpetuating for a very long time now in love, not wanting to deepen our roots, not wanting to settle, or not wanting to commit. I feel very much so this is in alignment with ultimately what kind of chapter we're being brought into within the season of Leo. We're going to be brought into a firmer understanding of ourselves, and along the way we're going to have to realize certain elements of ourselves have been in a disconnect lately. Leos really have tried very hard in the last 6 months, and we've made a lot of grounding, we've made a lot of transformation, you know, where we're continuing on with this momentum. However, the contrast is kind of catching up with us. A lot of time Leo will gain so much momentum, and then it'll kind of catch up to us the details that we've missed. So I think, you know, that resonates deeply with me. I don't, know how you guys are feeling necessarily. However, I think that this will have a strong impact on how you feel about yourself this month in July. Let's get some clarity over the Hero. Five of Coins in reverse. So a lot of you have felt very stagnant lately. I would say that the Five of Coins in reverse symbolizes that a decision has been made, right? Not to bury your head down, stay and linger in the dark cold, starving, with no shelter and no love, really out in the cold. You're choosing now. There's a decision that's been made with it in reverse. It's actually more of a positive card when it's in reverse. It symbolizes that you're moving forward. Okay, finally, right? Change has been made. You made a decision, something that you've done well recently, because you're being propelled forward into quite possibly a different direction, but a much more empowering one. Okay, and with the issue of love, I really want to see what this comes up like for us, because, we have been dealing with issues of love for a few months now, right? Needing to deepen our intimate relationships, Wheel of Fortune. Something that comes into your life, maybe as a surprise. Maybe it's something that is fated, but otherwise deemed as not being the most positive result. Maybe in love, some of you are actually coming into a position of either leaving the relationship or needing to address certain factors of the relationship that have otherwise gone awry. Maybe there's been an imbalance, and this needs to be communicated with one another. With the Wheel of Fortune, you could just simply be deeming this as a misfortune, right? When we see the Wheel of Fortune, I think it resonates mostly with Jupiter and the stroke of luck kind of vibe. So when I'm thinking about the Wheel of Fortune in context of love, both being in reverse, we're kind of seeing like, man, out of luck. Maybe this person really wasn't who we thought they were. Maybe we have had a stroke of bad luck in the past with certain relationships, and we need to deepen our relationship with ourselves first. Because I feel like, though, Leo, you guys are very, very strong in love, there is a tendency to be a little bit too strong or a little bit too domineering. We sometimes need the reminder to sit back and relax, that we're not under pressure like sometimes we put ourselves under. And maybe there's just a sensuality or a vulnerability that's needing to come back up within us. What is the Wheel of Fortune? I'd really like to clarify this, because I don't want any bad luck feelings. Okay, so the Four of Cups comes up with a waterfall of other cards. So something giving you momentum, okay? Again, this Four of Cups in reverse doesn't mean a negative, right? It means more of a positive in reverse than it does a negative. And the devil is kind of staring at us on the bottom of this deck. And unfortunately, I do resonate very strongly with this energy. I feel like the Four of Cups is speaking to our emotional unavailability. That in July, we're going to be forced or faced with certain aspects of ourselves that have either been blocked or suppressed due to past hurts. This is very much a reflective reading. We're reflecting on where we've been, hence the Hero with this very cyclical interpretation, right? The cyclical meaning behind it. We're walking into a new chapter, but a lot of that is in the contrast of where we've been. Realizing that where we want to go is not a direct reflection of where we've been. In fact, it might be a mirror opposite of where we've been. But instead, right, we're taking, instead of wallowing and pitying ourselves and maybe staying stagnant for a little too long, we're actually realizing this fairly quickly, and I commend you, because it is a lot to digest, okay, a lot to intellectually and emotionally take on within the month of July. But I see and I kind of sense that in June we're getting this influx on emotional availability, and maybe just like I used in last month's reading, maybe we need to take a bath, right? Cats, Leos, emotions are like water, right? We don't necessarily want to take a bath. Cat will not take a bath willingly, right? And when it comes to emotions, we're not the most vulnerable when it comes to emotions. We're not the most expressive when it comes to emotions, and especially very intimate ones that can leave us feeling vulnerable or unsafe. And if this has any context to the past, I would say that this cycle, this illusion that you've been pretending in order to avoid deepening your relationships, is going to crumble down, right? And it's kind of that tower moment that is more of a release than anything. It's a relieving tower moment, because you realize there's no control, right? If you want to move forward, you have to stop controlling certain things. With the Seven of Coins, we see that initially this seems like a lot of work, right? And initially, at least, this seems like you are cultivating something long term, okay, which I think most of us are very excited about. However, there's this epiphany moment, especially with the coin aspect. It might be right in our face, right? With the kind of effort we put into certain relationships or into certain endeavors that are finally reaping their rewards, are showing the gratitude and appreciation that we've laid within them. And it might just be this moment that true love hits us, and it's almost like when someone has been truly deprived of love for a long time, the smallest inclination of love or the smallest kind action done to them can bring them to tears. So it's kind of like we're getting this sigh of relief, but it is extremely emotional because we've been personally depriving ourselves of it. And the Seven of Coins speaks of having this emotional renewal, right, or this emotional aspect in us that wants to continue to grow in that way, right? With the Seven of Coins, this means that you're ounce by ounce, right? Action by action, thought by thought, emotion by emotion, planting something beautiful in your garden and really hoping to cultivate it more and more. It's almost an excitement that's there with the Seven of Coins. And seven also relating to some kind of vortex, right? And when I say vortex, I mean that it's going to continue on, right? It's this beacon or a chapter, right? This window into something that you can potentially have for a long time. However, you just need to put a little effort into it. You just need to feel it out just a little bit to get that momentum going. And with the Ace of Air, okay, lovers in reverse. We're seeing that some of you are coming out of a relationship. Some of you are realizing that long term, you've been depriving yourself of something that is deeply unsatisfied, right? Deeply unsatisfied within you that you have been depriving yourself of, or maybe have not even realized you need it until now. And with the Ace of Air, it comes to you as an idea. It comes to you as a beacon of hope. It comes to you as a certain truth, right? Coming out with it something that changes everything. Right? It could change the foundation of the relationship that you're in to better suit you. However, I see if you're true to yourself, a lot of you will be losing connections with another. But it actually, your destiny might depend on it, right? You might actually really want to just come out with it, even if it might be blunt, bold, or abrupt. This person, whether you could potentially be with a Gemini, okay? And this is Gemini season. So those of you who are with a Gemini, expect some shifts, right, within the relationship dynamic, and they may not reciprocate it very well, right, and that might not go over very well. But from what I'm seeing, it's totally necessary. The truth, the clarity, the insight, the honesty needs to come up. And whenever I see a dragon, it means ultimate clarity, right? Ultimate, it's like this wide perception that you're getting, okay, long term. And if you don't see yourself moving in the same direction with another, long term, we're seeing that you have a choice. You can stay in the cold, deprived of what you truly need, and there's no reason to feel shame about something if you truly need it, okay? Don't be afraid to live out your story, because your story is ultimately the most important story you're going to be telling this month. And I see you wanting to be a little bit more authentic in that story. I see you wanting to deepen your roots quite a bit with someone, and if it's not with the same person, then that's what you're leaving behind, right? You're leaving a person behind. You're leaving a certain belief behind. If it's any indication that there's any codependency in the relationship, you might have to actually address this with someone. Otherwise, I see this being a very good transition for you. However, the lovers might be uncomfortable, right? Because whoever we're expressing this to is not seeing eye to eye with us. Or it's this idea that needs to be rooted, right? It needs to be grounded. It needs to be more fully understood. And with the Ten of Cups, it kind of does indicate to me that some of you will be ending a relationship. With the Ten of Cups, it kind of means that the emotional foundation has been so shaken that there's not really much chance to rebalance. And I hate to say that, I'm really not that kind of a tarot card reader in the first place. I don't love to extend worries to my readers, right, or to my clients. But this does kind of indicate to me that there has been an imbalance for so long, And maybe that you have even realized the emotional deprivation that you've had within the relationship, not being able to see eye to eye, not being able to connect very deeply. And there's still that desire, right? This doesn't necessarily say that there's not an emotional context between you two. There absolutely is an emotional connection. But long term, I'm seeing that you recognize this as not being very fulfilling, not being very rewarding. And it's like you really realize this, right? This is a truth that shakes your foundation in a way. This is a truth that you must uphold, because it's just going to keep knocking on your door, right? It's just going to keep reoccurring. It's going to keep you trapped in this cycle if you don't move forward. So, I believe that you can eradicate this. I believe that if you are just truly honest with yourself and others, that they may see eye to eye with you, but the firmer you stand, right, in a way, the more opposition you may come across. With the Knight of Cups, okay, we see this person wanting to move forward in regards to the Nine of Earth. When I see the Nine of Earth, this strikes me as a very giving character, right? He wants to lend a hand, he wants to help, he wants to provide insight and grounding for your ideas. He wants to help you nurture and cultivate maybe that small endeavor that you have into a larger, grander idea or grander endeavor. Well, within reverse, it simply is meaning that either you don't see a grander idea transpiring with this person, or that they just don't have the know-how in order to continue this with you or to further this idea or endeavor with you. And, interestingly enough, this has a very earthy and fiery quality to it. So it is transformative in the way of your realizations this month. It is transformative in the way that you go about it. This is an ending or a closure with one habit or one person, okay? And it could be a fire sign, right? It could be another fire sign. However, this does resonate very strongly with how you've been feeling, Leo. Not being able to deepen certain intimacies with one person, or not being able to eradicate this situation, and finally coming to a point of exhaustion, right? Where you need to assert yourself, right? And with the Knight of Cups, the only caution that I believe is associated with the Nine of Fire in reverse is that the Knight of Cups symbolizes not really having a strong conviction, right? It shows you that the kind of roots that you're trying to deepen need to be firmly understood before moving forward. With this transformation, you're going to want to move forward so rapidly that you might forget to think, or you might forget to think so far ahead, have that grander idea, that people really misunderstand you at this time. And the Knight of Cups, doesn't he look like a poor little cat taking a bath? He's like, get me out of here. I don't like it in here. I mean, I don't even think he likes where he's put himself. So we have to be sure before moving forward what our intentions are. If you're the Knight of Cups and you're in this fountain and you're giving this grand showcasing of your art, you have a cup on your head and you're sitting very, what you think of being stoic in this fountain, the onlookers are going to say, what is your idea behind all of this? How much thought did you really put into this before you just jumped in the fountain? Okay, so really, really think about that emotionally, right? Not wanting to deepen something with another could be a fear of getting tied, right? Tied to another. I see you being very non-committal and maybe having this epiphany that you've been running from relationships for a while. And it's not necessarily that you have to choose someone now, right? You don't have to be with this person. However, I see that they could potentially be very good for you. In contrast to what I was saying before, some of you are actually leaving a relationship, but some of you who decide to come out with their truth and your partner actually understands and hears you and you guys decide to work on something together, I see this could very well strengthen you by helping you reflect on how you were feeling. Okay, they may even propose something in your life that's a little bit more grounding, and it could have potentially been a little confusing or misunderstood before, and it puts things into better perspective. So really, really interesting reading so far. I'm going to see if my guides have anything else for you. Leos, you are my fam. I love you guys so much. I'm hoping to get some some relationship advice from this tarot or from this Spirit Oracle deck. I really, want to know what's going on because I resonate very strongly with this card. However, I feel like I'm in a really lucky place in life. I feel really good about where I'm going, but there is a certain desire to move even more so, even more rapidly, or even more clearly in the right direction. And that, makes us look at our reflections in relationships as well, as either being a roadblock, right? Or someone that's going to be an asset to our long-term goals. Healing. Okay. Healing, healing, healing. Emotional vulnerability. Reaching new heights of emotional understanding and awareness. This is really special, Leo. I'm really excited to see this actually because this poses more probability for this actually working out for you with the least amount of damage or chaos, right? A lot of time when we're ready to receive this healing, that means the chaos has already been done and we've been through the ringer, and now it's time to move into a more healing and consistent state of mind and state of being as well. So emotional renewal, intellectual stimulation, right? We're getting this excitement coming to us and this momentum towards truth and understanding that I feel like we've been maybe avoiding even in the recent past. So something much more long-term and grounding is coming to us, and I think we're ready for it. Healing, positive transformation is occurring on a soul level. The answer to your question is yes. So cool. All right, Leo, I love you guys. Again, if you're interested in personal energy reading, I am taking new clients for the end of June and July. However, I only have a few spots left. So if you're curious to see what's in your future or in your energetic field in the months to come, please reach out as soon as possible. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I love you guys so much. Good luck in July. Bye.